Hey everybody, welcome back to Cookie Gaming. Today we are playing more Pentiment. Now last time we had a very eventful episode, and we finally managed to wrap up our case involving the murder of the Baron, and then we had a 7-year time skip. Now Andreas is back in town, but a lot has changed. We found that he's changed over time. He didn't keep up with anybody over the course of those 7 years. Also, the town is in a bit of an uproar. It's a time of great chaos and some peasant instability. Today, we'll have to visit the abbey, as we were invited to go and buy some books from the library, even though we have a bad relationship with the abbey. And also, when we woke up in the morning, we saw there was a note here in our room. I'm sure it's all very innocuous, nothing suspicious, surely. Well, let's pick it up. Did you drop this, Casper? No, I don't think so, Master. Also, we're here with our apprentice, Casper. Oh, no. I knew it was gonna be one of these. So it looks like one of those notes that were placed around town 7 years ago, when the murder happened. That script looks beautiful, Master Andreas. Did you write that? You were warned. Oh, no! Oh, no! I think I said this, but frankly, if I had received a note that said, "Don't come back," I would not have come back, okay? I'm one to take warnings when they're given to me. And this is referencing the fact that after that murder case, which we pinned on Ference, which, who knows, he may or may not have been responsible, we were essentially warned to stay away, which is what this note is referring to, and now we're back, despite that warning. Warned? What does that mean? Warned about what? It has to do with the murder that happened the last time I was here. Oh, I thought they caught the murderer. Yes, but it's complicated. Yeah, I think the situation seems to be that maybe Ference committed the murder, maybe Lucky, maybe one of these guys actually did the act, but the whole murder was sort of masterminded by some other schemer who was working it behind the scenes. Or maybe this person did the murder as well, I don't know, but they were definitely orchestrating things, leaving these notes around town. And clearly they're still here, 7 years later. So we have proof that that wasn't Ference, though I didn't think it was him, right? It was pretty obvious that it was someone else behind the scenes. Yeah, it's complicated. Let's just head up to the library, Casper. Alright, Master. Oh, man. Not a very warm reception, I have to say. Both in the fact that most of the townspeople aren't happy at us, either because we made enemies with them last time, which I'll take responsibility for, or the fact that even our friends we have neglected for years. Now, I'm blaming that one on Andreas. Good morning, Hannah. It's worth checking in with everybody in the morning. Killian, Nico, and yesterday there was someone out here. Samuel. Alright, looks like they've got nothing to say. Oh no, I'm worried about Andreas, man. I really am. Alright, well, let's head up to the abbey. Might as well, since that's where we have to head anyway. I think, well, let's see. Yeah, that's our only quest right now, is to go up to the abbey. But, once again, we have happened upon the town. Oh, got a pet schlau. In a moment of great political chaos, where the peasants are possibly going to rise up. So, knowing how I can't keep my nose out of things, I'm sure we'll get involved in that. Oh, man. Well, maybe if Andreas goes, Casper can be the protagonist of Pentiment 2. Oh, hey, brother guy. We had quite the confrontation with Guy yesterday, as in we both said some unkind words to each other, which as far as I'm concerned was justified. This guy's a real piece of work, but then guys still requested that we come by the abbey and buy some books, even though the abbot really doesn't like us. So, and that is due to my own decision making. I'll be honest with you. Andreas, brother Guy, what are you doing out here? Father Gurnot has asked me to inform the townsfolk that the shrine is closed. Yeah, we heard about that last time, in the 7 years since we were last here. I mean, the cause of the peasant uprising is a little more broad, given that, and I say uprising, there is no uprising yet, but this is referencing real historical events in 1524-25, when there were actually peasant uprisings throughout, well, a bunch of different German states in particular. So it's referencing broader events, but what we've seen over these last 7 years is that the relationship between the abbey and the townspeople has gotten even worse, and part of that is the shrine being closed off to public access. Closed, with everything going on, whatever for? Father Abbot has ordered that we bring the hand into the church. The pilgrims are still welcome to come in and visit the relic, but it's off limits to the townsfolk. Yeah, so you can see that relationship has gotten worse. A lot of the townspeople already didn't like the abbot. They already had a complex relationship. And now the abbey, is closing off access to their most important local relic. What? Why? The abbot has had enough of the peasants and townsfolk rebelling against the abbey. And you think this is going to make it better? He is the rightful lord. The abbot has been more than generous, but he will not let this 12 articles drivel pass. Right, referencing the demands made by some other peasants that are now being brought here. And I've talked about this relationship before. Of course, in this town, the abbot, through the abbey, is the sort of religious authority, right? Though they do have a town church and a sort of local parish priest as well. But not only is the abbot their religious authority, he is also their rightful lord, as Guy is saying there, right? I mean, we see in medieval Europe at this time, the church doesn't just fulfill a position of religious authority, it was also a massive landowner, and it would govern or act as a landlord over a lot of the land it owned. And in many ways, that is the purpose that the abbey is performing here. I mean, within the Holy Roman Empire, Central Europe, you had bishoprics, right? Whole states ruled by religious authorities. And so it's more complicated than just, well, the townspeople don't like the religious position of the abbey, though there's a bit of that as well. It's, well, they don't like how the abbot is essentially running their lives, because he does have that authority. The abbey refuses to leave the relic at risk of destruction. The hand of St. Moritz is the only thing keeping the abbey open. Yeah, that's definitely part of it. Pilgrims, it's sort of funny to say. But when you think about medieval Europe, I mean, I will say there was more travel than people think today, right? I think a lot of people, when they imagine medieval Europe, they think, well, everybody just stayed in the town that they were born in. And, a lot of people did. Most people didn't, travel super far. But there were a fair amount of people who would travel. And oftentimes, that travel was for religious reasons. 7 years ago in Kearsarge Abbey, we saw that a monk or religious figure from Ethiopia who had come to visit, right? So you had visiting religious scholars, scholars generally, people associated with the church, but a major form of travel at this time was pilgrimages. In fact, it was almost like the tourism of the medieval world. And, people went on pilgrimages from all different walks of life. Though, of course, if you were desperately poor, you wouldn't have the money to do it. If you were more, say, middle class, you could do perhaps a short distance pilgrimage. If you were wealthy, then maybe you make a pilgrimage to one of the most holy sites in the Middle East, right? So different types of people played the role of pilgrim, but these pilgrims essentially brought tourism, and with tourism came revenue, right? They were spending a lot of money as they visited different religious sites and churches and historical sites throughout Europe and the Middle East and beyond. So that's definitely part of it, is the money. But I'll make this point. Tossing relies on St. Moritz just as much as the Abbey. What about the faith of the townsfolk? Then they can stop engaging in such heretical and sinful behavior. The abbot's trying to protect the relic, nothing more. Not true. This is a punishment. This is clearly a punitive action, guy. I mean, look, I don't like Guy. I could get into it with him, but it's pretty clear there's no point. I mean, I think this in real life. You know, if you know that nothing's going to result from really arguing with somebody, is there even any point in getting into the argument beyond sort of personal satisfaction? So there's no need to start yelling at him. We don't like him, he doesn't like us. Now, what about the peasants' complaints? I mean, look, it's pretty clear that I sympathize with the peasants. Andreas, I think he could go either way, as I talked about last time. But I guess I'm trying to play the role of sort of impartial observer at the moment. I don't want to alienate anybody too badly, but as we saw with our last adventure 7 years ago, when the time comes, you have to make those decisions. Father Abbot has done all he can. Until the peasants can see reason, the relic will remain in the church. I pray, let's keep it vague. I pray the townsfolk in the abbey can resolve this quickly then. As I do. God bless you, Andreas. God, you're a real piece of work, guy. We can go back into the coven here. Let's see. Margaret. I remember Margaret. Hello? Who's there? Hello, Sister Margaret. It's Andreas Mahler, the artist. Oh, Master Mahler. Mother Illuminata said you'd returned. Is there someone else with you? Yes, my apprentice, Casper. Hello. God bless you, Casper. You smell even more of paint than your master. That's funny. I don't know. I mean, is it rude to say that right in front of her? I don't think so. I'm just informing Casper, right? I don't, you know, I mean, I know people don't like being talked about in front of them, but it's not. I'm just telling Casper she's blind. Sister Margaret's blind. She relies on her other senses, Casper. Oh, thank you? You're funny. Anyway, I should go. Mother Illuminata doesn't like it when we're distracted from our duties. Of course. Until later, sister. God bless you, Master Mahler. And you too, Casper. See if anything's changed in here. I doubt it. Both because, you know, things... Well, changes happen in an abbey, but you'd imagine things would stay similar over the course of 7 years. Also, I don't imagine at this point they really have the money for any major remodeling. That's been made pretty clear to us. In part due to our own actions, though clearly a broader trend is at play. You know, the Abbey wasn't doing fantastic even 7 years ago. No, Rudiger singing. Oh, there he is. Andreas! Oh, it's wonderful to see you again. How have things been for you in Nuremberg? I've actually been in Paris recently. Nuremberg's the same as it always is. Well, it's good to see you in any case. Forgive me for asking, but how did you find the music in Paris? Beautiful. Motets, and chansons were quite popular. I think you'd like it. I believe I would, thank you. Perhaps if God blesses us, we may see some of those compositions before long. I love our music, of course, but I'm interested in what's being created across Christendom. I mean, yeah, this is the time when the church, I think sometimes when people think of the Catholic Church of this period, they think of it as an institution that was more repressive of the arts and the sciences, and sometimes that was true, but of course the church was also a major patron of the arts throughout Europe, and really the arts flourished in certain places only due to the influence and support of the church. Music, and of course a lot of the arts, just because of how life was at this time, a lot of the arts, including music, were sort of intrinsically tied up with religion and with the church. Now that is something that would change over the next couple hundred of years from this point onwards, but still at this time the church is very much tied up in almost every aspect of life. I suppose you came to pay your respects to Brother Piero. I'm so sorry, Andreas. He was a wonderful man and a faithful servant of Christ. Well, thank you, Rudiger. That he was. Well, despite the occasion, it is good to see you again. God bless you, Andreas. Well, I'm glad we didn't end on such bad terms. Matthew! God bless you, Andreas. Nothing more to say? Here, let's take a quick look around the Abbey before we go back to the library. See if we can check up with some of the monks. Hey, Voislav. God bless you, Andreas. Welcome back to Kiersau. What brings you back to the Abbey? It's funny, we are so unwelcome in the Abbey due to the abbot, right? I mean, he said so, and Guy hates us as well, and we definitely did some damage to the Abbey with our decisions 7 years ago, but the monks here, most of them like us. I actually maintained pretty good relationships with the monks compared to a lot of the townspeople. I'm returning to Nuremberg, but wanted to pay my respects to Brother Piero on my way. Oh, of course. His grave is well kept, I assure you. Well, thank you, Brother Voislav. I'm glad to hear it. Will you be staying in Tossing long enough for St. John's Eve festival? It may be simple compared to those in the cities, but everyone in Tossing looks forward to it. Really? Master Andreas, can we? That's funny. That's really only an extra day or two. Why not? Yes, thank you, Master. I like having Casper here with us. I'm sure it's quite quaint compared to what you're used to, but it's one of Tossing's biggest events. Anyway, I'd better get back to work. It's good to see you again, Andreas. God bless you. God bless you, Brother Voislav. It is good to see him. Hey, Lucas. God bless you, Master Mahler. God bless you, Brother Lucas. How've you been? Still working in the kitchen? Clearly. Yes, I'm still assisting Brother Voislav. I've been making more complex dinners recently for Father Gernot. The rest of the brothers eat simpler fare, but the abbot has the privilege of foods from around the world. Yeah, and I'm sure he doesn't want to share that privilege with the rest of the brothers. I mean, sheesh. Well, tell me about what you've been cooking. Well, Brother Voislav has shown me how to roast quail and baste it with butter to keep it soft. Ooh, sounds good. And I help Sister Gertrude when she goes to the forest sometimes. She's been teaching me about herbs. And what are you doing now? Oh, Brother Voislav sent me to collect something for him, but I can't remember what it was. Something from the cellar, perhaps? Probably. There's so much in there, though. Maybe if I bring back a few onions, he'll be happy. We always need more onions. That's true, guys. Y'all, I mean, I'm a big onion enjoyer. I think there are a few meals that can't be made better with some onion. Some, but honestly, onions are central to a lot of good cooking. I'll leave you to it then. Cellar, where Brother Piero was kept those 7 years ago. we ever come down here? Oh. Hello. Doing some hunting, I see. I mean, that's why you'd have cats around back in the day, was to take care of the dang mice. Oh, we gotta feed the cat. Come on now. Y'all think I'm not gonna feed the cat? Then you don't know me. I mean, let me tell you, my own dog, she gets... If I'm making any food, she's probably gonna get some of it. Which, you know, I don't feed her too much, alright? She's healthy. Let me make that clear. But, you know, I like to give her little treats. I can't help myself. I think it encourages bad behavior, but, yeah, oh well. Brothers, where arst thou? I know we can go outside, but I want to check the inside spaces first. Plus, I mean, I guess the abbot asked for us to come back, but I still don't think he'll be super pleased to see us. Hey, Florian. Andreas Mahler, how wonderful to see you. Have you been well? Well enough, yes. Good. You look healthy. What brings you back here? I wanted to pay my respects to Brother Piero. Of course. I'm sorry, Andreas. I know it's a small consolation, but he lived a long life with little pain. He died quite suddenly during Lauds monastic hour at dawn, one of the two major hours used for the morning prayer. Can't believe we're still discovering more monastic hours. He was well loved by everyone here, even those who might pretend otherwise. Yeah, I mean, if I was him, I'd be pretty upset at how the abbot had treated Piero, but, you know. I'm sure he appreciates the gesture. As for your visit, I cannot speak with the abbot's authority, but you're always welcome company. Thank you, Florian. Quanto è buono il tuo italiano? How good's your Italian? E non è troppo male? It's not too bad. That came out of nowhere, Andreas. I've been reading every Italian medical text Klaus Strucker can get his hands on. Really? How many is that? No, I haven't counted, but many. Leoniceno's text on the French disease, which might have been helpful for the Baron those years ago. Yes, I think it would have, given, you know, we learned about everything he was up to. The Fasciculus Medicinae, a new printing from Venice. Wonderful woodcuts. Oh, the Flower of Medicine from Salerno. Did you know they've translated it into Hebrew? Occitan? Imagine that. Imagine a peasant in the fields of Provence reading the medical wisdom of Salerno. Nope. What is happening? Why are we getting the, why is it being printed all of a sudden? Oh, interesting. So, the printer in town, right? We're talking Klaus Strucker. That's how his text appears. Is, you know, Florian's becoming more enmeshed and involved in these printed texts. Is he gonna now change to having his letters printed? Is it gonna be, can we determine, based on who we're talking to, what they're more into? Or, you know, maybe that's just a temporary effect here. Truly remarkable. No, it seems to have changed his text. Ooh, that is interesting. What a good way to represent the changing of the times. What a wonder these books are. Yeah, wow. I got carried away. Anyway, it's good to see you, Andreas. Until later. Until then. Andreas is still written text. I wonder if we make certain decisions, if we could change our own text to printed text rather than written. That's very interesting. Yeah, this takes us back outside. The chapter house. Not, probably doesn't bring back good memories for Andreas, I imagine. We never, even though we did that whole investigation, we never actually got to talk to Piero about how he discovered the body. And of course, I think that was purposefully left a little vague, you know, but I would be interested to hear how that happened. Hey, I wonder if the abbot's in there. If he is, I won't talk to him until we're done with the books. There you go, good boy. Because I'm afraid of pissing him off and getting fully kicked out. Yep, there he is. Alright, we'll come back later. Like I said, I do not want to talk to him at this moment. Here, let's stop by the graveyard. Alright, see if there's anything different happening down here. I very much doubt it. Oh, Volkbert. Oh, sorry, Volkbert. We definitely did him dirty, last time. Oh, Master Andreas. It's been so long. It's good to see you, Brother Volkbert. How are you? Well, I'm a monk now. Brother Lucas, too. Yeah, we just saw him a second ago. Oh, interesting. What were you last time? Still do the same work, but now I have the same robes as the other brothers. Has the abbot been treating you well? Yes, he has. The work is hard, but I'm happy. That's good to hear. I'll leave you to your work, brother. God bless you, Master Andreas. Sorry, Volkbert. I wish I could apologize to you. I mean, I know an apology doesn't make things right, but I basically used him last time. Whatever my justifications were, and I had justifications, it was not a nice thing to do. Hey, Mother Cecilia! 1463 to 1522, 3 years ago. Oh, the headstone's well made. Her family must have commissioned it. Well, there you go. Shame she passed as well. Brother Piero, 1450 to 1525. Heck, wow. He did live a long life. Rest in peace, my old friend. You know, I mean, really, the last time we were here, that whole case, that was all done for the sake of Brother Piero. You know what I mean? I mean, you know. It was... I mean, of course, I was interested in finding out who'd done the murder. I just want to check out the crypt in the tower. Of course, I was interested in who did the murder, and there was perhaps a sense of justice as well. But to be honest with you, the only reason we were so involved, for me, was to save the life of Brother Piero. That was the main thing. And he's gone now. There's our little secret passageway here. I wonder if that's been sealed up. I imagine so. Alright, let's go talk to Adoc. Or Edoc. I still don't know how to pronounce that. Hello, old man. Hello? Who is this? It's Andreas, Brother Edoc. Andreas Mahler. Oh. Oh, Andreas! The fine young artist from Nuremberg. That's right. You flatter me. Your art flattered my writing. Yours and Brother Piero's both. God rest his soul. No offense, Adoc, but I can't believe you're still around. You got the... Well, I don't know how old you were compared to Piero, but you're pretty old as well. It's a blessing to work with talents such as yours and Piero's. And Gabriel and Rupert and Sister Michaela, when the nuns helped us with our labors. So many years of toil. They're all gone now. I pray they are all at rest with the Lord. Soon I will be gone. Then Brother Guy... Ugh. And all that will remain of us are our books. Unfortunately, Brother Guy... Well, who knows, but he's a lot younger. So he would be the last of the, I don't know how much the scriptorium survives, but he'll be the last one there. But enough of that. How have you been, Andreas? God has blessed me with good fortune. Good. Be sure to share it with others when you're able. You seem more at ease now than when I was last here. Do I? It may be so. I've worked in the scriptorium beyond the limits of this body. It pained my joints and strained my brotherly love for Guy. Well, yeah, I think everyone's brotherly love for Guy is strained. The scriptorium took my sight and the use of my hands, but when it closed, it also took the pain from my heart. Right, we definitely heard that the scriptorium no longer operated. The abbot is content to let me serve the Lord through prayer and contemplation, and so it also contents me. I'm sorry, Andreas, but I must rest now. It is good to hear your voice at Kyrsa again. God bless you. God bless you, Brother Adok. Yeah, I'm not sure he has that much longer on him, but a long life he's lived, and good work he's done. Zdena! Yeah, wow, look at that. Scriptorium's all cleared out. Scriptorium fell into disrepair quickly after Father Gurneau closed the library. Well, it's a shame to see, and once again I recognize that our own actions played a role in this, but also, it was pretty clear that all of this was in decline, even before we got here 7 years ago. Hello, Zdena. Greetings, Master Mahler. Hello, Sister Zdena. You're looking like a real artist now. I'm impressed. You must be living like a lord. Goodness. Okay. Screw it. I mean, this is clearly how he actually feels. Let's just be honest. The Lord is strapped down with obligations to others. Between my wife and my patrons, I'm miserable. You don't know anything about misery. You get to choose what to do with your life. What, you don't like living at Kyrsa, sister? I'm not like you, Andreas. I never chose this life. Yeah, Andreas chose his life, but he has ended up miserable and bitter. My family couldn't marry me off to anybody of a higher rank, so they donated me to the abbey. Oh, sorry. So they donated to the abbey. So, I mean, in a sense, they also donated her to the abbey. The amount was substantial enough for the abbey to take me in as a nun. I was forced to take the habit. I loved my life before Kyrsa. At least you chose your vocation. I was shoved into mine and forgotten. Yeah, that's tough. I mean, for her, it's not even, you know, people ended up at abbeys like these in a bunch of different ways. You know, for some people, it's a situation where it was essentially their last option. They had nothing else to do, or they felt it was their last option, so they ended up as a monk. For Zdena, it's even more than that, which is she was forced to come here against her will. It wasn't even that she felt it was her last option. The people around her felt that. So yeah, that's tough. And I'd agree, definitely, you know, more unfortunate than what Andreas is dealing with, but in that 7 years, it's clear Andreas has become pretty unhappy. And here you are, muttering as though you aren't the most successful person in tossing right now. I had no idea. I'm sorry. You're lucky to have the life you do, Andreas Mahler. You men can become whatever you like. While I, a woman of noble birth, am forever stuck sitting with crones and old men. That is interesting, though. I am surprised that there was no other option for her but to turn to the abbey. Maybe her family was a particularly religious one. Because, I mean, yes, it certainly was expected for women, noble women included, to get married and essentially perform their marital duties. That's how it was seen. But, I mean, we do have lots of examples of noble women who did not go that way. who remained as spinsters, who did different things with their lives, or were perhaps widowed young and then lived out a long life without getting married. So, I will say there definitely were other options for someone like her, but it seems like her family, for some particular reason, felt that if she couldn't get married off to someone of a higher rank, they were going to send her here. So, I'd say even more restrictive than most noble families of that time. I've accepted a lot these past years, but I can't ever be as perfect as Illuminata. Still, it's better than it was. Is it? I should return to my duties. Thank you for speaking with me, Andreas Mahler. Until later, Sister Zdenna. Well, here we are. Back in the library, though, it's looking slightly worse for wear, I have to say. Let's explore a little bit before we talk to Illuminata, though, I mean, I'm not sure there's, much to see. I will say, we didn't talk to Zdenna that much, 7 years ago. Maybe there were more times that I missed. I'm certain there were. But we did talk to it. We had that one good conversation with Illuminata when we were helping her find those books. And that was a pretty interesting conversation. Alright, nothing really to see. God bless you, Andreas. It's been too long. I know Father Abbot made it clear you were not to return when you left, but we'd hoped to hear from you. Yes, my apologies. You're right, of course. It's good to see you again, Mother Illuminata. Right, Mother. Gotta remind myself of that. She is, her position has changed since the last time. This is my apprentice, Caspar Ziegler from Salzburg. God bless you, Mother Superior. God bless you, young Caspar. Master Mahler. It's good to see you, sister. You as well. I'm sorry you have to see it in such a state. It sees very little use these days. What happened? After Baron Rothvogel's murder, we had fewer and fewer wealthy patrons. The small number that held out lost interest. Yeah, I mean, this was an abbey that was already in the decline, and I'm sure that the murder of one of the wealthy patrons of the abbey by, well, one of the monks, I mean, we pinned it on Ferrant, so everybody, whether that's true or not, everyone believes it was the prior of the abbey. I'm sure that didn't help business with everybody else. It's easier to commission new work from the Guild of St. Luke, or individual masters in big cities like Nuremberg. It's me. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, we've talked a lot about change over time when playing this game, and we can see here that, you know, previously an abbey like this may have held monopoly or close to monopoly on the arts of bookmaking and the type of work, the art they did here. But now business is expanding. Secular business is expanding. There are more of these individual masters. These guilds have more and more business. Of course, the printing of books is becoming more and more common. Guild of St. Luke regulated trade and sale of art in cities around Europe. Artists who sought to have apprentices and businesses often had to become members for the privilege. I mean, that's how business was usually done at this time, through a guild. Father Gournot saw no reason to keep the scriptorium or library open. Most of the books here have been suffering of neglect. After Mother Cecilia's death, neither I nor Sister Zdenna had time to maintain our inventory. That's terrible. Hirosawa was one of the last monastic scriptoria in Bavaria. Right, and she's talking about how things have gotten worse over the last 7 years, but as we saw, even back those 7 years, this type of work had already become increasingly rare. As Brother Piero was fond of saying, all things change in time. And I mean, I will say, it is a real shame that collections like these would fall out of use, and institutions like these would crumble. But, I mean, I will say, the era that you're heading into, right, the 16th century, the early modern era, was a true explosion in literacy, the number of books available, classics, Bibles even being translated into different languages, different vernaculars. So while I do think this is a real shame, I do think that, literature's in for a good time over the next couple hundred years, a really an unprecedented era, which, of course, continues to this day, of people reading and writing and translating old books and all that type of stuff. So it is a shame that these collections would fall apart, but it's not like they weren't replaced by any other institutions or artists or guilds or whatever. There were other people doing this type of work. Now all that remains are books for sale to interested parties, a task that Father Gurnot has entrusted to me, and that's why I'm here. Oh, Zdena does not seem happy. And Sister Zdena, of course. Well, I'm eager to look through your inventory. Mr. Andres, maybe you could find a book for little Magdalene, something that's not in print yet. Excellent idea, Casper. Casper, always with the good ideas. So, oh, I see. Let's look through. Percival. Perhaps Klaus would not object to the romance, given its emphasis on Christian virtues. I'm unfamiliar. A 13th century retelling of the Arthurian hero Percival. Okay. Written by Wolfram von Eschenbach. Themes of love and chivalry are prominent in this adventure tale. The German is a little dated, but I'm sure she'll figure it out with Klaus's help. Who knows? Maybe it will inspire her imagination. Okay, let's see what else we have. I wonder if we can, oh my goodness. I mean, I knew that, but I was wondering if there was, I don't know, any information on books she might like? Huh. I think these are Latin translations of some of Origen's homilies. Also, it looks like it's partially burned. Origin? Sorry, guys. Look, I never claimed to be great about pronunciation. Prolific 1st century ascetic and theologian, best known for his exegetical writings and homilies, influenced the development of the Trinity and the ransom theory of atonement. Oh my! Okay, influential fella then. Probably not a great gift for a young... Wait. Whoa, whoa, whoa. This is the same bookhand as the notes I found when the Baron was murdered. Oh my god, this is quite the discovery. Whoever wrote this is responsible for writing the notes. I need to ask Illuminata about this. Holy shit. That is a partially burned. Okay, I'm gonna go through the other books here. Did someone try to get rid of the evidence of their writing? Was it Ferenc after all? No, clearly not. But, okay, this is very curious. Let's see. A copy of Jacobus de Voragine's Golden Legend? Every good Christian should know the legends of the saints. And the Latin's simple enough that she should be able to read it before long. Yeah, okay. I think I still liked the Tale of Percival. Oh, Richard de Bury's Philobiblon. It's a text on the collection of preservation of books. A 13th century English priest and later Bishop of Durham, Richard de Bury, was one of the first private book collectors and is best known for the Philobiblon, which prescribed the care of his collection. Oh, very interesting. 13th century English priest, one of the first private book collectors. As you can see, around that time, these collections start to grow. Private collectors become more interested. in many ways that starts a process that we're seeing come to its full fruition in the 1500s. Got a little note here as well. Maybe this is where Illuminata and Cecilia learned all their tricks. Certainly a good book for a printer's daughter. Yeah, I mean, I think she meant for something fun, though. I'm still thinking about the Arthurian tale. Albertus Magnus's De Animalibus. Dominican theologian, philosopher, astrologer. Okay, interesting. Natural science. It's ostensibly a bestiary, but it contains so much more knowledge on a variety of topics. This could inspire an interest in animals and the natural world. Beautiful illustrations as well. Okay, that's a pretty good pick. Casper, you caught up. That's a good pick as well. You know, kids love animals. Maybe the text should be a tad dry compared to an animal encyclopedia today for kids, but I think that's a pretty good pick. Anyway, we have a clue we have to talk about. Have you decided on any books to purchase? Yes, just one. Oh, interesting. You know what? If it's a gift for the kid, I think this one would be good. The copy of Albertus Magnus's De Animalibus. Contains a wealth of knowledge. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Klaus Strucker's daughter, Magdalene, will. The Latin may pose a challenge for her, but I'm sure with persistence she can overcome it. Is there anything else you need? Yes, also, Andreas, you must have enough money to buy more than one of these books. Come on now. Anyway. Yes, Mother Illuminata, what do you know about this book? I don't know anything. This is the first time I've seen it. Where did you find it? I've seen it on one of the lower shelves. I don't think it's in our catalog. It has to be from another Bavarian scriptorium, probably in the last century. It's burned around the edges. Why? How can I find out where it came from? Who wrote it? If it's not in our catalog, I'm afraid I don't know whom you could ask. If it was a recent edition, the only people who would know are Mother Cecilia and Father Matthias. Not great. That's a shame, because whoever scribed this book wrote the letters I found while investigating the Baron's murder. One's in the fine bookend? Brother Edoc told me about them. Perhaps he knows something about this book. He's been here longer than any of us. Why would the person who wrote the letters have scribed a book in our library? Well, that's the question. Whoever did it is the thread puller. Huh? Someone who is manipulating people at Kearsaw and Tassing, pulling threads to provoke someone into killing the Baron. Yeah, that's basically what we found out. That whoever actually did the murder, once again, whether it was Ferenc or it was Lucky or even Attilia, though I think it was probably either Ferenc or Lucky, whoever actually did it, there was this individual behind the scenes pulling the strings. I thought one of the brothers killed the Baron. He did, but the Baron was lured to the chapter house by someone who knew Kearsaw and Tossing's secrets. Well, that's kind of why, you know, I thought that was another point in favor of Ferenc being involved, because he was prior of the Abbey, but now it's got to be someone else who also knows the secrets of both the town and the Abbey, which, you know, sort of circles into a pretty small group of people, I have to say. Well, I'm afraid we can't be any more help to you in determining the book's provenance. However, as it's not in our catalog and it's already damaged, I doubt Father Abbot would mind if you kept it. Excellent, thank you. Glad someone bothered to save it from the flames. Yeah, it kind of scares me a little bit. Eat with the Druckers. Yeah, I doubt we're welcome eating at the Abbey anyhow. Alright. Let's see if there's anything else we can discover while we're here. believe Matthew is the prior now. No mysterious notes. No, he's no Ference, I'll tell you that much. Well, I'm sure everyone's gonna be in the mess hall, or whatever it's called, eating their lunch. Yep. Hey, Lucas. Let's see if... Oh. I doubt anyone's gonna want to talk. Yeah, I didn't think so. But we already talked to all these guys anyway. You've got Matthew and Gurno. Okay. Nothing from him. Maybe we'll come back later then. I'm a little relieved, honestly. It's not like I was really looking forward to talking to the abbot, given the fact that he really, really dislikes us. Yeah, Brother Guy, you're still guarding the shrine, huh? Andreas. Shows the level of our relationship. Not even a God bless you. And from a monk, nonetheless. Dang, that's crazy. Everyone's eating lunch. He is still out there guarding the town's most important relic. Well, although they brought the relic into the church, so I don't know what he's guarding at that point. Maybe the site itself. Father, God bless you too. I mean, I know the Druckers are there. Oh, these two are talking. So, I was like, I'm not sure if we'll find anyone to talk to, but here we are. Andreas? So, Otto, sign from God? Oh, right. Found something just a few days ago. Okay, so Otto was telling us, and Otto was sort of leading this peasant movement, that he'd had a sign from God. This will sound crazy, but I found St. Moritz's head. Sorry, what? His head? Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. How are you sure, my man? That's way better than the hand. Alright, I can't say anything more until St. John's Day. And everyone will know. Who else knows about this? Only those who need to know. That's very vague. And you, of course. Feel lucky? Absolutely. Good. Until later, Andreas. Well, that's quite something, right? Because, you know, at this time, though, of course, the Reformation is happening, but in this still very Catholic Europe, these relics were extremely important items. Now, of course, as things develop, today, what we know is that those relics are far more treasured in Catholicism than in Protestantism. But of course, once again, this is at the emergence of Protestantism. And so things are a little more mixed up. And so having control of a relic like that could really mean something to people. Hello! Have we met before? Hello again, Sepp. It's been a long time. Oh, Andreas, the artist from years back. I barely recognized you. Master Mahler's a very renowned painter, don't you know? Oh yes, Sepp, meet my apprentice, Caspar Ziegler. Pleasure. Don't mind me, I don't hear much of what happens outside Tassing. Besides, we didn't talk much back then. No, we didn't. You were always busy running back and forth between the Abbey and Gertner's. I guess that's true. How have you been doing? Family well? As well as can be expected in these times. Heilwigs? Good and healthy. Simon, my son, is growing like a beast. You've heard what Otto has to say, haven't you? The Abbey's taxing us to death, restricting what we can do in the woods. Christ, we can't even pray at the shrine anymore. It's obscene, you understand? We get a harsh winter and people are going to die. Is it really that bad? Very bad, son. Hmm. Interesting. I don't know about that. Well, okay. I'm in favor of them causing trouble, but I don't really want to impart that lesson to Casper right now. Also, I don't think that's true, so I guess I'll say number one. How much worse can it get? We're given no choices. We have to create some. Lives depend on it. I hope you're not mistaken. Helping others is never a mistake. I've griped enough. In the end, it's action that counts. True. What brought you back here anyway, Andreas? I came to pay my respects to my friend, Brother Piero. One of the monks, eh? I suppose you knew them better than most. Enjoy your stay in our little town. It hasn't changed too much otherwise. Yeah, I was gonna say, that's not true. It has changed, more than you realize. Oh, of course. The construction of the Wrath House is new. And the Golden Hand didn't exist when you were last here. Yeah, that's not what I meant. It's not exactly what I meant, but yeah, you're right. Can't really notice changes when you live in them, can you? And that's fair. That's absolutely right. I mean, when you're living day to day, it's hard to notice those slow changes over time. But Andreas here, he was here 7 years ago, and now he's back. And the place has actually changed quite a lot. It's a lot more obvious when you're not living with them, like Sepp says. Alright, enough talk. I gotta return to the family. God watch over you both, Andreas, Casper. Until later, Sepp. Bye. Well, maybe we'll get to talk to him a little more this time, because we really didn't talk much last time. I remember Till. He was the old shepherd. Hello, Till. Anton. Fabian and Carl. I don't know if I remember these two. Hello. Anything from you? Here, are these guys in my my little book? Fabian and Carl. So many people here. Carl, husband of Helena, father of Anton and Martha, in his mid-40s, straight brown and gray hair. Interesting. Farmer and very tall son of the very elderly Rock. Huh. Hey, Andres. We talked to him yesterday. Here, we might as well take a lap around. I mean, a lot of these people we did talk to, but not all. Oh, right. Ulrich. God bless you, Andreas. God bless you, Ulrich. How have you been? The Lord has been kinder to me than the peasants. These are difficult times for them, Andreas. They could use your help. My help? How? Talk to the abbot. He may respect your opinion more than mine or the peasants. Unfortunately, Ulrich, you've got that wrong. Well, actually, I'll put it this way. He might respect my opinion more, but he likes me a lot less, so I'm not sure he'll listen to me. I would have hoped he could see that his behavior is not Christian. Something is clouding his judgment. I'm not exactly in Father Gernot's good graces. I doubt he'd listen to anything I had to say. We must try, Andreas. These men are fair and hard-working, but they've been pushed down for too long. They're becoming desperate, and desperate men can forget their faith and turn to violence. Ooh, dangerous thing to say, but let's say it. What if violence is the only language the abbot understands? When a man can't keep his family fed, he can only keep that pain inside for so long. I mean, this is true, you know? I mean, we talk about this with political systems today, which is, you know, over time, if a society, or a community in this case, is not being governed well, if the people are upset, that tension and discontent will grow over time. Now, if you're in a society that has responsive political institutions, meaning you as an individual, today we'd say as a citizen, are able to express yourself and able to make change in your society, then that discontent can hopefully be solved over time. But if you live in a society or a community like this, where you really do not have legitimate ways of expressing your grievances, what happens is that discontent grows and grows and grows, and eventually people will turn towards more illegitimate methods or more violent methods. And this is, of course, a trend we still see today, and perhaps are seeing right now, but that's besides the point. Make no mistake, the peasants hold Father Gourneau responsible for their lot. I mean, obviously, he's not fully responsible. There are broader trends at work here, but you know what? He's partially responsible, and they're definitely fair to blame him, at least in part. If there is a fire in their hearts, we must pray for rain. I'll do what I can. Thank you, and God bless you, Andreas. Yeah, I doubt the abbot will be interested, but, you know, I'll give it a shot. Though, honestly, me stepping up for the peasants, standing up for the peasants, will just probably make him like me less. It might make him like the peasants less. Though it seems he does already have a lot of disdain for the peasantry. Yeah. Not surprised, Lucky. Lucky really doesn't like us. And he's got reason to. But also, I mean, I landed on Ference, and I was pretty convinced, and I guess I still am. But also, I always maintained the possibility that for me, Lucky was the second most likely to have committed that murder. Now look, I mean, Rothvogel was not a good guy, but still, I'm not sure murder is fantastic. Alright, I'm not sure, it seems that the people we talked to yesterday, salutations, don't have much more to say to us today. So I think we'll go and have lunch with the truckers now. Alright. Oh, hello. What's going on here? Hello, Magdalene? Who exactly are these two? Maybe I met them before? I don't seem to recognize them. Klaus? You're back. Good. We're almost ready to sit down to eat. Would you and Casper care to join us? Of course. Thank you, Klaus. Andreas, please try not to complain about your life during this meal. That really turns people off. Especially Klaus, who's had a hard time these past couple years. He does not want to hear it from you, buddy. Welcome back, Andreas. Casper? Andreas, these are my friends, Benjamin and Rachel Sommerfeld. They're on their way back to Prague. Ooh, okay. We've all heard of Prague, an imperial city of the Holy Roman Empire. The city's mint made it a hub for German and Italian bankers and merchants, and its university became a gathering place for many Reformation thinkers. Yeah, I mean, not that I know much about it, but when I think about medieval Prague, their university is one of the things I do think about. Good day. Hello, excuse me for not getting up, it's a bit difficult. Of course, I understand, it's nice to meet you both. Hello. Brrr. Hello. That sounded like a real word, Klaus. She's learning more of them every day. She'll be reading before long. That's a wonderful segue to the gift I've brought her. Oh? A book from the Abbey Library. Is this for her or for you? Her, I swear. Albertus Magnus de Animalibus. Andreas, she's only 2. I'm sure she'll learn quickly in a printer's house. Thanks for this, it's a nice thought. maybe the Arthurian legend would have been better suited. But, I mean, she couldn't have read that either. We should probably pray before we eat, assuming the Sommerfelds don't mind. Not at all. We're accustomed to being guests in Christian homes. Oh, interesting. What religion are you guys? Thank you for asking, Klaus. Alright, I'll lead the prayer then. Prague? Maybe Jewish? Would be my guess, but I don't know. Now bless us, O Lord, and these your gifts, which we are about to receive from your bounty. Through Christ, our Lord. Amen. 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 Class, thank you again for letting us stay here. It's been such a long trip. Oh! Is it time? Not right now. No, I'm fine, I think. Just sore everywhere. Ugh. Anyway, we'd hoped to get home weeks ago, but the fighting has made it slow progress from Basel. I want to hear about the fighting. Has the fighting come close? Close enough. We can hear the drums or see the armies. It's too close for me. Yeah, you might have a bad couple of years. Though, of course, when we talk about the religious wars of the Reformation, the culmination, the worst example of that, is the 30 Years' War. And none of the people here will survive to see the 30 Years' War, which is good for them, because the 30 Years' War, in the early 1600s, which lasted 30 years, as the name suggests, would devastate Central Europe. So a lot of the communities and towns we've been talking about through this playthrough will be devastated by that war. So they won't live to see that, but there will be some pretty intense fighting, and that fighting's already started with the religious wars of the years to follow in the 16th century. Rachel being pregnant complicates things, of course. Quite understandable. Lucky timing for me, though. Now I have 2 printers and a master artist at my dinner table. Oh, so, they're printers as well. True, it isn't all misfortune. Oh, that's funny. So we learned that they're a printing family, too, and all of a sudden, this is fascinating. So Florian talks about working with Klaus to get all these printed books. Text changes. Now, I imagine both of their texts will change as well. Daddy? Oh yes, thank you. And a future printer and baby printer to be. Tossing hasn't seen this many artists under one roof in a while. Andreas. It's amazing to see how far printing has come so quickly. Some of the engravings I've seen are incredible. And new techniques, new types, new styles are being developed every year. I mean, yeah, at this time, printing was still a pretty fresh technology here in Europe, and so it's still in the early stages of its development, and so what Klaus says is absolutely true. Benjamin's trying to create a more readable script for Yiddish. Right, so they are Jewish. Prediction correct. I mean, I just guessed, because they were going back to Prague, non-Christian. It's like, most likely Jewish. We have typefaces for Hebrew, but it would be nice to have something separate for Yiddish. And I mean, that's sort of in line with this trend we see at this time, which Klaus is a part of, where some of these older texts are being translated and printed in vernacular languages, right? So prior to this, a lot of the texts being passed around were in Latin, and were mainly for either educated members of society, the nobility, or those associated with the church. But now what you're seeing, and once again Klaus is a part of this, are a lot of texts being printed and translated into, for example, vernacular German. So more regular people could read them. Same thing for Yiddish, right? Yiddish was a common daily language for a lot of the people, a lot of the Jewish people in this region. And so printing in Yiddish is part of that trend towards printing in vernacular languages. I think I've seen it before, but I wasn't able to recognize it. Yes, it's still a developing typeface, and usually only used in Jewish women's books. Oh, interesting. I like her writings to be more accessible, especially to those who only read Yiddish. Yeah, I mean, that's what a big part of this shift to vernacular printing and writing was. It was to make these texts more accessible to the regular person, and of course you can imagine how that's very tied up with the Reformation, right? Of course, a big point of these Reformation thinkers was that, instead of you accessing God through the church hierarchy, you'd have your own personal relationship with God, which was most often mediated by the Bible, by Scripture. And so you would need to be able to read Scripture. And, a lot of people, and of course a lot of people at this time couldn't read, but literacy rates were going up. But if you're a regular person who can read, you probably can't read Latin, you probably are better off reading your own language. And so that means you're going to need Bibles printed in people's regular languages. And so that trend sort of continues with Bibles and then with other books, right? So all this is all tied up. Ooh, interesting. Here's something like this. I'll be sure to send you some samples when I'm finished, Klaus. Good, I'd like... Oh, uh-oh. Is she gonna give birth? Yes, I'm fine. Are you? Klaus, what are you working on? I need to get ready to sell to travelers as the pass is open, but lately I've been printing the 12 articles for the town. Uh-oh. 12 articles. Thanks to Father Thomas, everyone in town can read at least well enough to make it through the sheet. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I mean, and that's worth pointing out, which is, of course, at this time, we are not talking about modern public education. In fact, most places didn't have any type of system of education. Usually the only education provided would be through the church. And when we're talking about more rural communities, that's going to be through your local parish priest. If you have any education, it's probably going to come from him. And so that's a good example of that here. It's got a lot of people talking, and a lot are coming over to Otto's way of thinking. Well, you heard him yourself, Andreas. What do you think of what's happening in Tassing? Interesting. The abbot's always been an ass. What do you expect? You're not wrong. Remember what happened to Attilia's house? The abbot took it away. I mean, look, the abbey itself isn't doing well. I recognize that. That's true. But the abbot has always been horrible to the people in this community. Gournot, compared to the last abbot, I mean. She's lost everything. She works for Father Thomas now. Yeah, I spoke with her. Quite unexpected given her attitude towards the church. I was as surprised as you are now. We all were. But that was the only charity available to her. Right. In the same way that the only education in most places would be provided by the church, there was but most places did not have any social safety net from the state. The only social safety net would be from the church. Good old Christian charity. If you fell on hard times, you'd have to rely on either your neighbors or the church in one way or another. Sorry, not trying to bring up bad memories. I was just trying to say that things have been hard on the peasants for years. It's just gotten worse lately. If the abbey's in such a bad state, there must be someone the abbot can appeal to for more money. I'm not so sure. Duke of Bavaria. The title is held jointly by two brothers, Louis X and William IV. Both are working to suppress the peasant revolts. Yeah. Yeah, that's probably true. We can be sort of more introspective with it. This is the problem with mixing temporal and religious authority. It does seem that these problems are affecting lords across the empire, abbots or otherwise. They are, right? So once again, this is part of a broader trend. Yeah, the abbot's a bad guy, but in this case, the abbot is simply filling the role that lords filled throughout the empire, and those lords were having a bad time dealing with their uppity peasants, right? The peasants are in revolt in many different places. So the story here with the abbey, it's not unique, right? I mean, an abbot and abbey may be a little different than having just a guy who's a lord, but in effect, they're serving the same purpose. Right. This is a problem with the abbot acting as lord. Yup. He can't hide behind his habit and say this is Christian behavior. Yeah, that is essentially the issue. Ooh, apple pie. You gotta save dessert for last. Let's have our bread. We're sympathetic to what's happening here. We saw it all throughout Swabia. Peasants are suffering. It's true, but I worry about what will happen in Tossing. Ow! I'm fine. The baby's really kicking. Peasants are no match for the soldiers of the Swabian League. A military group maintained by the free imperial cities of the Holy Roman Empire. Members included nobles, knights, and hired or retained mercenaries. What is the Swabian League? Wow, okay. We'll go mercenaries, soldiers for hire. They rally for coin, not for cause. We can't speak to their motives, as we tried to stay far from them, but they were intimidating even at a distance. If the peasants aren't careful, Tossing could draw the wrong sort of attention. Yeah, and the thing is, with these peasant rebellions generally, and I can't predict what's gonna happen here, but generally, the peasants rose up, and they were crushed. Now, it's not to say that no peasants made gains anywhere. There were certainly successes, but it is true when the peasantry comes up against an armed force, the peasants will typically lose. And not to mention that, these peasant uprisings, there was not one unified uprising where everybody came together. It was a mishmash of different uprisings, which made them a lot easier to put down. Because you weren't dealing with one unified force, you could sort of put them down one by one. And I will say, part of that might be that they were lacking in overall leadership, because people like Martin Luther actually condemned these peasant uprisings, which was sort of surprising, because people thought, hey, this is your whole thing, Martin Luther, the Reformation, changing things, blah, blah, blah. But, to be honest, that's sort of a fundamental misunderstanding of what Martin Luther was about. I mean, he was a religious reformer and upended the religious order, though of course initially he intended to reform it, not to upend it. But I would not call him a social reformer, or a social radical, because he was not. He was pretty satisfied with the current social order. He just had some religious gripes. And so when it came time for him to support those peasant radicals, those social reformers, he said, no, I condemn you guys. So that was a blow as well. Anyway, I know that Otto and the peasants are taking a risk, but I believe Otto will keep things peaceful. I'm not so sure. Anyway, it's not the Swabian League we have to worry about, but the soldiers of the Duke of Bavaria. Bavaria. Prince Bishop has the church's authority, but the Duke's lands surround Tossing and Kearsarge. Let's have our pottage. Oh, man. Oh, wow. Well, I'm glad Andreas wants to apologize. I mean, I feel like this is the most direct. It might sort of hit him where it hurts. I'm sorry what happened to your family. But it is the most direct apology. Yeah, I'm sorry for what happened to your family, and I'm sorry I never wrote back. That's it. I'm sorry. A little awkward to do with guests here. Yeah. Well, maybe I could have chosen a better moment to apologize, but I'm glad that Andreas wanted to apologize. Ow. Oh, this is it. This is it! Oh my god. Oh no, I was afraid of this. We can't travel now? This is all my fault. We should have left Basil earlier. I love you, Benjamin, but be quiet. I don't care. I need help. Yes, we need a midwife. Is there one who would accept Rachel? Oh, interesting. Agnes Steinaren, she's Tossing's midwife. Did you go to her? Did you get her? Klaus? Yes, I should get her. Agnes has delivered every child in Tossing as long as I can remember. We had the option there between the midwife and the doctor. I went with the midwife because, you know, frankly, first of all, medical training was not then what it is now. But also, I would rely on somebody who has experience delivering every child in Tossing versus even a trained doctor. I know that might sound crazy today, but once again, remember, like I said, that training was pretty different then than it was now, and Steinauer has the experience. She would never turn any woman away. And also, the doctor is kind of an asshole, so I don't know what his approach or attitude would be. Thank you, Klaus, you're a mensch. Enough with the thanks. Get me the midwife. Yes. Andreas, you're forgiven. Okay. Well, you wrapped that up. Casper, it was good to have you over, but you both have to leave. Of course. Good luck, Rachel. Thank you. I'll need it. I'll go fetch Agnes. My goodness, what a turn of events. Thank you for joining us, Andreas. Oh, I almost forgot. You should go see the bonfire preparations in the town commons. You missed them on your last visit. Klaus! Hurry the hell up, Klaus. I'm going. Well, thank you, Klaus. We'll be going. Take care. Alright, well, that wrapped up nicely. I'd say things definitely could have gone worse. You know what I mean? Hello! Wow, this is quite something. Everyone seems to be working hard for the bonfire tonight. The commons look festive, decorated like this. Look at all the flowers, Master. And the bonfire is huge! Oh, look at them. How's the fire coming? Those logs work out alright for you, Andres? Come along as expected. Nearly finished. It's all in place, Otto. Good. Alright, everyone. Remember, after the bonfire tonight, we celebrate as usual. We'll all gather in the woods, and the women will collect herbs as tradition demands. Otto, the abbot has forbidden harvesting in the forest. Shut up. Please, for everyone's sake, reconsider your actions. Thank you, Father, but the abbot's order goes against God's law. The forest belongs to all of us, as do all its game and fowl and fish. Cannot claim ownership over that which the Lord gave us to hold in common. I mean, we've talked about the enclosure of the commons. Otto's summing up one perspective on that right here. No, I'm sorry, Father. We'll proceed as planned. Tossing has never let anything get in the way of our St. John's customs, as long as I can remember. We won't start now. And remember, tomorrow I will show you proof that as sure as the sun turns round the earth, God and our saints are with us. Good day, Andreas. Hello, Brother Woislaw. You looked upset at Otto's announcement. Is everything alright? Otto's becoming more aggressive in his defiance of the abbot. Father Gurnot will not take this news well. The abbot doesn't like festivities? Let's play stupid. Oh, the bonfire's fine. I look forward to it every year, and the festival is wonderful. But willfully antagonizing the abbot by gathering herbs against his order? I'm afraid this won't end well. His order? Didn't you just hear Father Thomas, Andreas? The abbot declared the woods off limits. Anyway, it's not for me to say. I'm sure the abbot will tell you more. Do I have to talk to him? He sent me with an invitation for you to dine with him tonight. What? He wants me to come back? I'm sure the father will want to discuss the situation over supper. I'll attend. I'm just surprised he wants to have me. Does the invitation extend to Casper as well? Sorry, Andreas, but Father Abbot has asked you to come to his house alone. What the hell's gonna happen there? Is Gurno the one behind all these notes? Whew. Yeah, you're lucky, Casper. You got out of this. Please tell the Abbot I'll see him this evening. Not that I really want to, frankly. Well, I guess I'll see what all the fuss is about. I'll meet you back at the Golden Hand after dinner, alright? Can I help set up the festival decorations while you're with the Abbot? Yes, but be back before sundown, alright? Yes, thank you, Master. See you later. Wow, look at that. What the hell's going on? I mean, this is where you can best see that we sort of talked about this before, but though these communities have been Christianized for a long time, a lot of the pagan rituals remain. Oftentimes sort of disguised with, you know, some Christian language, but still pagan at their heart. Or maybe I shouldn't put it that way. With pagan origins. Kill! Brigitte. Hello, hello. The bonfire is much simpler than the one in Nuremberg, but it's pretty all the same. Okay. Casper, anything? Nope. Master Andreas, you best not keep the Abbot waiting. Go on, we'll meet up after supper. Alright, don't get into trouble. He's gonna get into trouble. The doc. Hello, Andreas. Hello, Werner. Alright, well, you know what? I'm going to end this episode here. I usually play through to the next day, but we've got to meet with the Abbot for dinner. We've got the bonfire. I'm sure that's not going to go well with how the Abbot's upset with the peasants. So I reckon there's a whole lot more to do this night. So with that, we're going to end this episode here. Another interesting one. We found that book that partially burned. Who knows what that means for, well, the investigation we did 7 years ago. Things are really ramping up with the peasantry and the unrest. So a lot is happening here in Tossing, and we'll get to see how more of that plays out next time. So thank you everybody for watching. If you enjoyed this one, you can leave a like, subscribe, you know, all that good stuff. I hope you're all having a fantastic day today, and I will see you all again next time. Goodbye.